What's good, you guys? Zach out here, and today we're going to be talking all about the iPhone 11 Pro Max Ultra Fisheye. It is insane. It's blown my mind. I've had it for 2 weeks, and I really want to make this video to show you guys what it's all about. First thing that I can think of is that you can't go underwater. You can get underwater case, but with the GoPros, those are really nice that you can go so deep and have that accessibility, like jumping out of an airplane and not worrying about it. As far as the fisheye vignetting, I haven't had any issues with the vignetting yet. As your subject kind of moves into the corner of the frame and not in the center, then yeah, you're gonna get a lot more warping and a little bit of jittering going on. The stabilization in it is amazing. I'll show you some clips right here in a second. Actually, I'll show you the first clip I filmed with this phone here at OB Park, a line of Chris Coogan. I had no idea what was gonna happen. This was like the second day I had this phone, and I just shot it. The stabilization on it is really impressive. See if you can tell the difference. Is this an iPhone or is this a GoPro or anything else? One thing, before I play the clip, let me just say that I had no idea how far or how close I should be. Anyways, roll the clip. Can you tell? Can you tell that was an iPhone handheld clip, just run and gun style? Let me know in the comments below. To have this at the ease of use and just bust it out at any point and be able to film fisheye is amazing. I honestly think there will be full-length videos with this camera, skate videos, all sorts of videos. So today I'm really excited to show you some real-life examples. I'm not 100% confident that you even need any of those action cameras anymore. By the end of this video, hopefully have a little more confidence on confirmation if you really do need a GoPro or any of those action cams, or you can just use this iPhone as a substitute. The Ultra Fisheye is 16 millimeters. Normal fisheye for like a DSLR camera is 8 millimeters, just to give you some kind of comparison. 4K you can film at 24 frames per second, which is native movie picture frames per second. It's 24 frames per second. You could also film in 60 frames per second, which is great for B-roll, and you could also film in 30 frames per second, which is great for regular skateboarding. In HD mode, you can't film in 24 frames per second, which is kind of weird. I find that sort of odd that you could film in 4K at 24 frames per second, but not HD. It's really not far from a GoPro or any of the other action cameras. Those specs are pretty on point with it. Along with all the lens extension companies like Moment, for example, make really awesome lens extensions for your iPhone, but at the same time, at this point, I'm not sure you're gonna need any of those extensions or any of that, and that's kind of what I want to prove or show in this video. It's kind of like a field test of you don't need all this extra stuff now, you really just need this phone. Ultra wide lens cannot be shot in RAW, so that kind of sucks when you're going to edit or add it to any other footage like I'm doing here in this video. But if you're keeping everything in your iPhone, it really doesn't matter at all. It actually does come at a 2.4 f-stop, which is the highest aperture of any of the other lenses that come on the iPhone. So with that said, when it gets to low light, it's gonna suffer more than any of the other lenses. So if you're filming fisheye later in the night and you're finding that your footage is turning out really dark, it's just because the lens on the Ultra Fisheye is gonna be the most harsh in low lighting. The other day, I was skating OB Park, and I'm super bummed right now, and I really shouldn't be so bummed about it, but I scraped up my Ruby tattoo, which is my beautiful French bulldog at home. I love you, Ruby. I'm sorry, don't hate me. But like, I think I messed some of the lines up. Asa, my tattoo artist, don't hate me either. I love you. I'll be over soon to touch this up. I'm super bummed, but that's what comes with skating, right? You can't like get so worked up over that. You just gotta roll with the punches and keep going. Something that I like to do when I'm filming, just to avoid the light flickering in and out and the exposure changing, is using the AEAF. And how you go about that is basically you pull up your image, your frame, and you just hold on to the brightest spot in the area, and then it will lock exposure. From there you can move around anywhere and your exposure will be locked. So if you go into a dark area, into a bright area, the exposure will remain the same. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. You can leave it running as natural. That clip that you just saw that James filmed of me, run and gun style, that was all natural, no lock, and the exposure automatically adjusted, which was a good thing in that situation, because if we had locked the exposure when I was going towards the sun, I would have just been completely dark. We just got to City Heights Park. We're gonna roll around, film a couple clips. Now that I've had this phone for about 2 weeks, hopefully have a better idea of how to compose the image and get everything a little more sharp, a little more accurate, a little more in frame, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, let's jump into City Heights and show you exactly what this camera looks like in real life. re-up, charge up, and get some coffee. That iced Vietnamese, baby. I like a little bit of coffee with all my espresso. 4 shots of espresso. We're going big today. So when I was filming that edit that you just watched, I ate shit. It's funny, people always say, be careful when you're out filming, like you'll be out skating and someone will be like, don't break your head. And you're like, oh, thanks. Now I don't even want to try the trick anymore because you just said, oh, don't break your head, right? But it's kind of funny. It's when you're not paying attention that you end up getting hurt. At least I end up getting hurt a lot more when I'm not paying attention. When I'm just filming something and I go step on the ledge and I miss the ledge and I fall over and I eat shit. We're not going to talk about it because it's kind of embarrassing and I'm not going to be skating for the rest of the day. The moral of the story is there. When you're actually skating, you're trying something hard, you're paying attention. So it's less likely you're going to eat shit. I mean, it's still a possibility if you're trying something hard that's out of your skill house. Yeah, there's a possibility. But my point being is that when you're not paying attention and you're just kind of autopilot, watching through the iPhone is when you eat shit like I did. So audio is something that I was really concerned about, really worried about, because obviously I film skateboarding, lifestyle, a lot of stuff where the audio is very crucial and it brings a lot to the story, the video, the thing you're watching. I'm not an audio engineer, an expert or anything like that, but I've noticed filming with the iPhone has better audio when you're filming straight on. Like if I'm filming like this and the audio that's over here is gonna be good. So example, if I'm filming skateboarding, the audio from the skateboarding is actually gonna be better than the GoPro from the iPhone. But I've noticed when you flip it around, say I'm doing like a selfie mode or something like that, selfie mode, I noticed the iPhone audio gets really bad, where the GoPro audio actually gets pretty good. So you can be behind the GoPro and be talking, and the GoPro can pick it up a lot better than the iPhone. If you are gonna be vlogging with camera or starting a YouTube channel like I'm starting right now, I definitely recommend getting a mic because it's gonna be really nice audio. Again, today was no accessories, no add-ons. We just want to do more real life run and gun tests, and that's what we did. So you could accessorize this. I think you can add a handle and a mic, and you have a full-on HVX camera in your pocket. It's pretty impressive. If you're just going to be making videos for your handheld device like Instagram or anything like that, this iPhone is going to be amazing. Or even YouTube. I honestly think you could do a full-blown vlog. You can start a whole channel with just this iPhone alone. Now, if we're going to talk aesthetics, I went with I think they called it the forest green. It's a forest green, really dark green color iPhone. I actually love it. It was funny, me and Erica went back and forth. She was like, no, it's black. I'm like, no, it's green. I had to get the box. The box looked green. She still was convinced it was black. Finally found somebody else that had the iPhone 11 Pro Max that was black, and it was definitely, mine was definitely green, and theirs was definitely black. Solved. It is green. It's a very dark green, but it is a green. That's more of an aesthetic thing, has nothing to do with the cameras. I like the green though. It's very sexy. Oh, and there's one other thing that I forgot to mention. This isn't really about video, but more so for photos, because I started taking some photos to get a thumbnail for this video, and I was like, oh man, I don't know, it's a whole different realm. And my buddy Chase was like, you should turn on live mode, because if you turn on live mode and you're taking skate footage, you kind of move around. It's essentially taking a sequence without even taking the sequence, and you can find the right frame. So that's a really good hint, hack, tip. When you're taking photos with this iPhone, or any iPhone really, shooting live mode, but especially with the fisheye sensors, everything's happening really quick. They're coming in and out of your frame so fast, you might be able to frame up your composition a lot better. So zooming, that's the other thing that's crazy. If you're gonna stack it up next to a GoPro, you can zoom in when you're with the fisheye. It's pretty crazy. I feel very foreign doing this, or even saying out loud. It sounds kind of gross, zooming in fisheye, but all reality, you could definitely zoom fisheye. It's pretty crazy. I've seen a couple people do it, and it looks kind of weird, but you can do it. I'm gonna show you right now. There's basically this sliding guide. I don't know really what you call it, but you can kind of hold your finger and pan in and pan out a lot smoother than you used to, where you had to kind of pinch in the screen. Now you can kind of slide this little dial. Actually makes a pretty smooth zoom from ultra fisheye to fisheye to the telephoto lens. Pretty crazy. So you can be in full fisheye mode and then pan in or zoom. All these are new capabilities that we never had with the iPhone before, which is pretty epic. Now today we stuck pretty specific to the ultra fisheye because that's where I'm really curious about. Do you need a GoPro? Can you just use this iPhone? Can you get rid of your GoPros and just use an iPhone? That's what we're comparing. So I think at the end of the day, it really matters what you do, right? Because with the GoPro, you can go in these high intense weather situations. You can go underwater, you can go in the snow. With the iPhone, you're gonna have a little more limitations in that. But at the same time, the iPhone has such ease and accessibility when you want to just run a gun, get your phone out and go get the shot. It's so sick to be able to have that quality at your hand at any moment. So honestly, I probably will take my iPhone instead of taking this GoPro for trips, just because it makes it easier for me. I'm not going underwater a lot. I'm not really going in the snow too much, but I'll definitely bring this when I go snowboarding on those little trips. But yeah, honestly, I might even start filming some fisheye with this phone and put on some of these YouTube edits. I'm curious if you guys will really notice the difference at all. Solid $1,400 isn't cheap for an iPhone, right? That's pretty crazy when you can get a GoPro for almost half that price. But the difference is that you have a phone here. There's so much more. The camera is like maybe 10% of all the capabilities that this device has. So that's kind of why I wanted to compare it and stack it up next to the GoPro. It's not all about the image quality and the fisheye and everything like that. It's more about the everyday use and real life. Are you gonna go out and get your GoPro so you can go film skateboarding? Are you gonna go out and grab your phone so they can make calls and then flip it out to go film skateboarding at the same time? So again, it's just more about the accessibility, the ease of use, and making your life more convenient. And I think the iPhone 11 Plus really does do that. $1,400 isn't cheap, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I was due up for an upgrade. I waited a long time. I mean, look at this phone. I was ready. It was time. It's time. It might be time for you. So I will say, if you're ready for an upgrade, do it. You won't regret it. Highly recommend it. I still love filming with a video camera. I'm kind of old school like that. I like having that ability to color grade and having those raw files. But honestly, this is going to be so fun to film with. I'm excited to get my phone out and film on the session. Anyways, this video is a little bit different than most of the videos I make. Hope you guys liked it. Give it a thumbs up if you did like it. And please subscribe if you haven't already. I'm going to be making more videos like this for this channel. Super stoked to get into them. And leave a comment if you have any questions about this phone in particular, or any questions about this channel, skateboarding, videography, photography, anything like that. Anyways, stay on, guys. MASH. See you in the next one. Now today I stuck